Good early evening. It's almost 4 o'clock. So our soap has sat for a little over 4 hours. And I probably should have done this part off camera. But I thought, why not? Okay, there's one. I like to go ahead and get them both out. Two. Now it is still settling, it's still curing, but at this point it is soft enough to be able to cut without worrying about breaking or shattering, which pure tallow can do. So all you want to do is I have a single cutter, and you're going to pick the width of your bar. And the way that I did it was roughly cut and then weigh, because your soap, as it cures, it will lose some of its weight. It is what it is. So, it may start out today at 115 grams, and then after 4 weeks, it can be at 112, maybe even 110 grams. So you want to be mindful of that. Isn't it pretty? I may be a little biased. And I love the way that this smells. The cedarwood, I think, is just wonderful. Now, I personally like the cedarwood. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good for anybody that wants it. But, I do find it to be very nice for men. Now when I'm done, I will go back, as I'm moving these into the other room, I will go back and just take my finger across the edges. I'll show you what I mean. I know that some people like to shave those corners on their soap. I personally don't. But what I do is I'll take my hand and just some of this little fraying, and I'll just smooth that out. So I'll do that when I move this into the other room where it's going to set to finish its curing. Isn't that beautiful? Now this, like I told you earlier, it could develop a little bit of soda ash. You can see that it is trying. But I did not spray mine down with the alcohol the way you saw. I just don't do that. And like I explained in the other video, I'm allergic. So there's that for one reason. And two, alcohol dries your skin out. So that's another reason. And I think I may have said this in the the pure tallow soap recipe. But generally what I do is I sell all of my bars of soap at 110 grams. No, they are not actually 110. Now, some of them are. I should say that. Some are. But for the most part, mine are well over. I sold one yesterday. And I always weigh mine before I put them in their boxes to go to their home. And it weighed in at 115 grams. That means that when I cut it, it could have been about 117. It may have even been 118 grams, but once it was cured, it was down to the 115 gram marker. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? And this all will finish. I like the little swirl, if I'm honest. That doesn't have to go on there. So just grab the front one so you can see it. Now, the pure tallow soap, because it is pure tallow, it is harder. And generally will last, depending on how much you use your soap in the shower, you usually get about a month out of one of these bars. Or at least that's what we get, because my husband uses this one. I use the Luxe Rose bar. I just like it better. It's just, I'm a girl. I'm kind of girly. Not overly girly, but just enough to where I do like my, certain scents. And I like that it's a pink bar and just, those kind of, I guess, just girly things. Just wiping those a little. So there you go. I will get all this cleaned up. I'm going to get this carried through to where it's going to set and cure. And then it'll be ready for sale in 4 weeks. But I still have 64 or 65 bars, something like that. I know it's more than 60 because I counted earlier. Of the pure charcoal tallow bars. So I'm still good. I just wanted to be prepared since this one is selling quite well this month. And I am not complaining. Thank each and every one of you that has bought a bar of soap. I truly, truly appreciate it. So anyway, like I was saying, you will, if you make this, you will lose some weight as it cures. That's just part of it. And if you decide that you wanted to do a business, always remember there are consumer laws. So you are only allowed to, like if you advertise 110 grams, I believe that the law for the U.S. and the U.K. is a 2% differential, meaning you can go 2% of the weight below, but no more than 2%, because that can cost you your business and some huge fines. So keep that in mind. And there you go. All right. Each one should make 10. If this is 9, 10, and that was the end of that one. 8, 9, 10. That's what you get per loaf. So, well, that's what I get with the dimensions that I'm cutting, which is roughly about an inch. It's a little over an inch thick of a bar. I do believe. Yeah. Yeah, it's about an inch thick. Or maybe just a little slightly over. I believe it's like slightly, ever so slightly over. And that was to give me the weight that I was looking for. You can do thicker bars, you can do thinner bars. I just think that this is the perfect size for me and for my business, because I don't want to be that person that sells something that's, a 2 or 3 shower use, and you're like, okay, well, now I get to go spend again, if you like the soap, obviously. And this, like I said, all of the pure tallows will last about a month. The Luxe bars last me about 3 weeks, and as does the all natural bar, lasts about 3 weeks. So, and that's pretty, that's a very frequent use. So yeah, I'm sorry if I've rambled a little bit. I didn't want this to be 2 seconds long, but I also didn't want it to be too long. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and cutting the soap with me today. I'm sorry that I didn't forget. I was so busy that I had dinner going, plus needing to cut the soap the last time. And so here we are, but I'm showing you the cut this time. And I hope that my video has helped in some way, shape, or form. Maybe I said something that you've never heard before. I don't know. But I can always hope so. And hopefully I taught you something, which is my goal. All right. Now, at some point, I'm going to make some dish soap bars and a luxury. The dish soap bars that I do will likely be what they call the luxury Castile soap bar. So look forward to that sometime in the future, probably over the next month. That's my guess anyways. So anyway, there you go. Like I said, I hope I helped in some way, shape, or form. And as always, I hope you have yourself a wonderful day.